how I overcome my seborrheic dermatitis. So seborrheic dermatitis, if you don't know, it's basically an overproduction of yeast on your face, scalp, could be anywhere on the body, in fact. It's just an overproduction of yeast, and the yeast actually feeds on the natural oils that you produce, which then effectively causes all the redness and itchiness. So I don't know if you have seborrheic dermatitis, but if you do, you know how fucking annoying it is and how self-conscious it can make you feel. I had seborrheic dermatitis primarily on my cheeks here, on my eyebrows, and on my scalp. And I'll be putting up some pictures as we go along, showing you how bad my seborrheic dermatitis was. I do understand that it's not the worst case scenario. I know how I have seen people with seborrheic dermatitis that are like really, really bad. But hopefully I can spread some knowledge and help some people out there that are going through it, because it's not a nice feeling. I couldn't wish it on anyone, really. It's not nice at all. But essentially, I had it for a while, and I was quite lazy, really, to try get it sorted, because I didn't know what it was. And when it got really bad, so it used to be in like waves. So I used to, one minute I used to get it, and then the other minute I used to not. Sometimes it would flare up, sometimes it would not. But it wasn't too bad to the point where people used to ask me, like, what's that on my face? And I used to say, I don't know, it's just a bit of redness, a bit of rash or something, I don't know. And then it got to the point where it's actually got really red, really itchy, and it was like raw. It was raw red. I'll try put up some photos if I have any. And it was like raw red. And what I did was, I straight away went to the doctor, booked myself a GP appointment, and I said to him, look, I've got this on my face, I don't know what it is, it's bugging me. I thought it was something to do with my ringworm, because I had ringworm weeks before this all this seborrheic dermatitis started, but it wasn't anything to do with the ringworm. The ringworm was a completely separate fungal infection. But essentially went to the doctors, and they straight away gave me, as you probably know, because you guys that are suffering with it as well have been given the exact same stuff. They were like, oh yeah, that's seborrheic dermatitis, have some steroid cream, have some antifungal cream, and get on your way. You know what I mean? You know, and I was like, what, so is it going to go away forever? They're like, no, it's not. It's chronic, as they call it, I think, which means it will stay with you for life, but you can manage it. That's what they said, you can manage it. And I was like, right, I can manage it, which is not what I want to hear, because that means it's out of my control. Or or I'm going to have to put steroid cream and antifungal cream on my face for the rest of my life to keep a bit of redness down. But I never had before. So I knew something I was doing before was all right, because otherwise, how can it all of a sudden come along? So I went home and I started applying, and I held off from the steroid cream, but I started applying the antifungal cream. In fact, I got the antifungal cream here, so let me quickly grab it. In fact, it's actually still in its packaging, but it's this Dietary antifungal cream. And at the same time, they also prescribed me some of this. I can't even pronounce the name, so I'm not even going to attempt it. But some of this steroid cream, and also some steroid ointment to go onto my scalp. This stuff. Because I told him that ketoconazole or Nizoral wasn't working, like for me. I didn't want to use these steroid creams, because these steroid creams are not... I've heard horrible stories, you know, all the different complications that come with steroid creams and ointments long term, and the fact that it wasn't curable, the fact that I might not even walk away with this cured at the end of it, I didn't really like. So I stuck with the antifungal cream. It felt it getting worse, to be honest. As soon as I put this on, it felt like I started throbbing, it started really hurting. I'll try to put some photos up again of what it was like, because it really was not nice. It was actually doing the opposite, but I thought maybe it's killing whatever I'm doing on there. It's killing. Anyways, fast forward about 2 or 3 days, and I get to the point where I honestly, I get fed up. I'm at work. I'm like, I feel really self-conscious. It's super flaky. It's raw. Everyone's asking me at work, what's that on your face? What's that on your face? What's that on your face? So essentially I was like, right, I pack it all in. I say, right, I'm going to whack the steroid cream on and see if I can get it sorted. whack the steroid cream on, and within a day, it clears. Within a day it starts clearing. And when I tell you, I was like, oh, thank God for this. Like, this is so good. But, there's a big but. At the back of my head, I was thinking, this is not going to end well, because as soon as I come off this stuff, it's going to go back right to normal. If not, it can even go back even worse. And I had stories, and I read about stories where people started using this stuff and using, steroid creams and steroid ointments, and it cured it. Well, not cured it, but it healed it. And then as it came back again, it came back twice as worse. Now, I really did not want that to happen, but I could not carry on with the stuff on my face any longer. I had to get rid of it, and that was the only way that I possibly could get rid of it. Now, a week goes by. I read online that this stuff is only good to use on your face for a week, and I didn't want to use it for too long because otherwise it really damages the skin. And I've actually got a little bit. So I used to put on my, that's a cut, don't worry about that, but I used to put the cream and the antifungal cream on my hand there, and I used to just mix it like this and then put it onto my face. And I don't know if you can see, it's not as bad now, but I'll put up some photos of what it was like. But it's actually burnt. It's actually burnt a little layer of my skin on my hand from where the steroid cream was on. So I knew this stuff was fucking atomic, and it's not good to use on the face. It even says don't use on the face unless the doctor tells you to use it on the face. Anyways, I start doing some digging, and I do some deep digging to see what the hell is this stuff. Like, why is it? I must have been doing something right because I didn't have it at the start. So why is it now that I have it? Why is it now that I have it? Now, I want you to understand something very, very clearly, which they probably won't tell you, but I truly believe this, because as you can see, I have managed to clear my seborrheic dermatitis. Bear in mind, I'll show you pictures of what it was like. I'm still slightly red in the cheeks, but this is 2 weeks. This is 2 weeks of natural curing, natural. And I'll tell you how I did it, but I need you to understand one thing. Seborrheic dermatitis is an immune response. Your body is responding to something that you're putting into your body. This is a response. This doesn't come out of nowhere, right? And this is something I had to learn the hard way, because after using all this stuff, I stopped using it and it came back like that. I'm not even joking. One day, it came back straight away. So I said, I knew that I needed to change something. And I looked into it. This on your face is an immune response. In other words, your body is reacting to something. It could be an allergic reaction. It could be some sort of food reaction, drink reaction. It could be anything, right? What I want you to do is understand that 80% of your immune system is in your gut. So when I say it's an immune response, I'm talking, it's luckily 80% of the immune system, or 90% of the immune system, is in the gut. So we're lucky to know that it's clearly something we're putting into our bodies, right? And seborrheic dermatitis is one of those things that I am very passionate about, knowing that it's an immune response. It's something you're putting into your body. In other words, it's something that you're eating, maybe even drinking. But we'll get onto that. So when I understood that this stuff is an immune response, my body is producing yeast because it's responding to what I'm putting into it, I decided to cut away bits of my diet. So I wouldn't consider my diet as being bad. I tried to limit fried food, and I tried to limit bad junk food. But essentially, I always ate junk food. When you watch a movie or something, or when you have a meal and you have like pudding and whatnot, I'm not saying I was terribly bad, but I did used to eat some bad stuff. Maybe not too much fizzy drinks, but I was a heavy water drinker, which I still am now. As you can see, I buy these every nearly a week or so. But the first thing I started to do is cut away bits of my diet. The first thing I started to do, in fact, was write down everything that you're eating. Everything that you're putting into your body, everything that you might be putting on your face, moisturizer, anything, cream, anything. I'm talking the lot. Write down everything. And it is a hassle, but you need to get into the mentality. If you want to get rid of it, you need to get into the rhythm of saying, right, I put it in my mouth, I write it down. I drink it, I write it down. I put it on my cream on my face, I write it down. And you will soon start seeing what is primarily taking over your diet. So are you heavy dairy? Are you heavy gluten? Are you heavy wheat? You want to see what you're eating, and you want to actually have a little look at a full diary of what you're eating. Once you have figured out your diary of what you're eating, cut away the thing that you are eating the most. So if you're having dairy every single day, almost every single part of your meal, it is going to be very hard to do it, but just cut away dairy. Cut dairy away. Or for instance, sugar. Cut sugar away or something. You have to start cutting it away. And if that doesn't change it, then introduce it back again, cut away another thing. If that doesn't do it, and keep repeating. And this is exactly what I did. And the thing that I cut out and the thing that cured my face within 2 weeks, gluten. I cut gluten out completely. No gluten. I thought, and initially, because this was a yeast overproduction, I thought I'm going to cut yeast out. Anything that's got yeast in it. But yeast was a bit of a difficult one because yeast obviously is bacteria. Is it bacteria? I'm not sure what yeast actually is by the definition of it, but essentially I thought cutting yeast out was going to be a little bit more difficult. If I say gluten, let's do gluten, and I cut gluten out completely, and look at my face. In fact, I'll even come closer, and it is a little slightly bit red, but when I come back from here, you can't even notice it, and on camera, it even makes it look a little bit worse. I'll be honest. On camera, it does make it look a little bit worse, but in person, I am happy than ever. I've actually managed to cure this on my face completely naturally, and I didn't have to use this shit on my face, which is the most unnatural thing your body can ingest at all. This stuff is just pure chemical. So to recap everything, 80% or 80 to 90% of your immune system is in your gut. Everything that you eat causes a reaction in your body. You might not know, but sometimes, intolerances and stuff can be created. Your body can start intolerances, especially, now this is another thing that I believe in, is the fact that I was on antibiotics. I was on 3 courses of antibiotics for my ingrown toenail. And antibiotics is known to absolutely destroy your microbiome. Your microbiome being your bacteria in your gut. And that is heavily, well, it is your digestive system. Your digestive system wouldn't be a thing without all the bacteria in your gut. So I believe that I had those course of antibiotics, those 3 courses, it wiped my microbiome out, and now I've become intolerant to gluten. And that is what I truly believe. And I've been eating normal, I've been eating all my normal stuff. I've just not have any gluten. So find something, cut it out, and you should be fine. You might be thinking, fuck it, I'm never going to be able to get over this. This is it. But you will get over it. Look how I've done it. I promise you'll be able to get over it. Just find what's causing it. It's always a reaction. It's time you need to be proactive, not reactive. Be proactive. Get the root cause. This isn't finding the root cause. Yeah, as I said, I really hope that, guys, that helps. Please stay away from all this crap. This is not being proactive. This is being reactive, and it will always bite you back in the ass later on in life. And that goes with everything. Please, 90% of our problems come from our gut, and I really want you to understand that. Look at your gut. Look at how you survived back before we were, before we had all this stuff. Yeah. Diet. Figure out what you're intolerant, and cut it out. That's my message. Thanks.